443, 442. And the chair will entertain a motion to approve the agenda.
I so move.
Cindy is first. Is there a second on the agenda?
Let me look at it.
Oh, yeah, good idea.
I'll second.
All right, all in favor, aye. Aye. Agenda is approved. Moving on, item 3, public input. The public is invited to present petitions, make announcements, or provide other information to the commission that is relevant to the scope of authority of the city of Blue Lake that is not on the agenda. Commission may provide up to 15 minutes for this public input session to assure that each individual presentation is heard. The commission may uniformly impose time limits of 3 minutes each to each individual presentation. The public will be given the opportunity to address items that are on the agenda at the time the commission takes up each specific agenda item. At this time, are there any public with input? Would you like to introduce yourselves to the commission?
My name is Morgan Giles. I'm the owner of Blue Lake Pizza Company.
Wow.
And this is Clarissa, my cousin.
Hi.
She is also helping getting it up and going. We have a third kind of main member who wasn't able to make it due to work. And we noticed we were on the agenda, so we figured we better come down and sit in
Yeah.
and see what's really going on here.
Well, thank you. I'm really excited that you guys have taken up this opportunity here.
Oh, it's thrilling.
Pizza. Okay, so we have some, and feel free to chime in as needed here. So next we have minutes from the January 10th meeting. Is there a motion to approve the minutes?
I so move.
And
I'll second.
the minutes are approved. Moving on to item number 5, accepting minutes.
I apologize, these aren't in chronological order. But to start off, we have a special city council meeting tonight, taking place at the party room at the rink. And that's a training for council members and staff, but the public is welcome as well. And I believe that will be recorded. So, yep, it will be recorded. We also have a regular council meeting, March 28th at 6:30 here at Skinner Store. Our next Parks and Rec Commission meeting is April 5th, the first Wednesday of every month at 6:30 here as well, Skinner Store. We have 2 adult skates coming up. The first one is our regularly scheduled last Thursday of the month with DJ Goldilocks. He's asked to feature DJ Green Beans, so we're excited for that, and that's 7 to 10 p.m. And then we got contacted by a traveling DJ to do a show in April, the first Thursday of April. And so we're gonna go ahead and do a double week, which has been exciting with the demand. We think it'll go well. And our last adult skate still fared very well with the weather. We had about 80 skaters on our last one, and it was a blizzard that day. The Lager Bar is having their anniversary party, March 17th, St. Patrick's Day, from 5 to 11 p.m. At the same time, we will have the Shamrock Bash going on for the kids over at the rink. That's partly sponsored by Blue Lake PTO, and we're welcoming all local Humboldt County 6th to 8th grade students. And we're featuring Blue Lake Pizza Co. to help us do the food there as well. Easter rock painting is going to be headed by Molly here at the Resource Center, and that's going to be Friday at the Grange from 12 to 4. And she's going to take the lead on gathering volunteers to hide the rocks and get those out into the community with that date to be released for no early hunting. The Lager Bar is asked to do a second block party in April. I think kind of a coming of spring festivities, and that will be April 29th from 4 to 10 tentatively. And we have a few dates for bingo at the Grange. Mandy, you know the March date?
March 25th is the Kinetic Fantastic Team. That's sponsored by Patty Johnson And I believe Malia Matsumoto and I think Gina Tuzzi is all involved. But that's to support the pig, the ham.
Ham taste.
Yeah,
It's a sculpture.
yeah, so that'll be March 25th.
Awesome. We also have May 20th, the Chamber of Commerce has decided to take on that date last night as our sponsored bingo night. And June 17th, most likely the Old Crows will take on that bingo night there. And that's what I have for upcoming events.
Okay, moving on to item 6, the roundabout sign.
So this has been brought up a few times in the EDC over the last years, and I believe the last time this was talked about was Susan Ornelas. And so we've been thinking it may be time for an update. We have new businesses in town. We have Darcy, we have the roller rink, we have the Pizza Co., we have Olney's Downtown Honeycomb. I could go on and on of people that are reflected in our current sign. And I think it'd be awesome if the EDC was interested in taking this on as a project to think about what could that sign look like and how could we best honor our business community and Blue Lake and
Is that the big sign? Is
Yeah.
that owned by the chamber?
It is the chamber's sign,
yeah.
but I think it hasn't been updated
No.
in years.
Ever.
Like, there's a lot of things on it that don't exist anymore. So I think there's a good opportunity to think about kind of a revamp, because that really is the gateway right there. So kind
No.
of thinking about how we maybe move into the next century.
Absolutely.
Are we just thinking about replacing the ones that aren't real anymore, or is it a fee to be on?
Honestly, I don't know. I don't know that it's even really being managed anymore in that way. I know it wasn't too long ago that there was some updated, like, I think someone touched up some of the paint on the signs. But
That
I
seems
don't
like
think,
it'd be a chamber fundraiser, for their.
yeah. And I think, like I said, just the thought of that being the gateway, inviting people into the community, there's an opportunity to make some improvements
Or
there.
at least have it reflect the community.
Mhm.
It's time, it's time.
Yeah.
But
And it
this
doesn't
would
have
be-
to completely be replaced, I mean, it can just be updated or have new businesses or repainted or, and then we have below it, we have the little sign that says downtown, because part of our problem is when people were coming into Blue Lake, they were turning and going to the casino, not realizing that downtown Blue Lake was actually the next exit. So we're trying to let people know, like, if you're trying to get to the river, if you're trying to get to food and things, you gotta keep going. So it was more of a temporary, because it's literally just a vinyl banner. I know, I'm sorry, Elizabeth.
Is this the one inside the second one and not the
So there's the big one, and at the base of the big one, we have the one that
banner,
says,
because
yeah,
that
Yeah,
was.
it's like the big one's like a scarecrow type
Yeah.
looking
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
That's what I've always thought of
it's got the raven on it.
Yeah.
it.
It looks a little Edgar Allan
I mean,
Poe.
with this,
it's
is
just
this
like
something
the growth.
also that we could, get the Arts and Heritage Committee involved in? Because, it'd be nice to have maybe something actually made by an
Right.
artist, like a
Well, and that was what Emily and I
sculpture.
have been talking about, was how do we connect EDC and the arts and heritage to work on this collaboratively? So I think with EDC, you're kind of the driving force for the economic side and promotion of business, and the arts and heritage side can come in and look at the aesthetics, and cultural values associated with the signage.
Is there a budget for the signage?
I think we can come up with a budget, yeah.
And now, this would be something we would work with the chamber on.
I think everyone probably needs to be involved in this.
Okay, yes.
What Arts and Heritage has been doing is forming ad hoc committees so that they can actively work on something in between meetings. So that could be a consideration of the EDC to form an ad hoc that could then work, and I have to just clarify this with Ryan, I think 2 ad hocs, as long as they're separate commissions, can work together, because you can't establish a quorum, crossover quorum, so, but it would give a little more flexibility to do some more, some more groundwork and really start thinking about options. Because I'd really like something to happen, and it doesn't have to necessarily even be the end all either, you know, it can be, we started out with one, we move into the next stage, and then in the future, something else can come in and take its place as well, but I think we're ready for some new signage as we move into spring and summer.
Yeah, it'd be nice if it's to
Mhm.
accurate.
And then this was, this artwork was done as part of the Mad Scroll last year. And we loved everything about it. I personally just, I don't know, the colors really resonated. I think the imagery, really resonated with me and just kind of its depiction of, you know, of.
And the arrow towards Blue Lake
And then-
up
yeah.
there, we kind of.
So what we ended up doing is we purchased this image, so the city owns it, and so we also have the right to modify it. And so this could be a starting point, you know, you could, even if you're like thinking, we thought, well, what if we even just removed some of the main imagery of the people? And then, cause you have to make space, you know, for your wording, and then just use that as kind of the outline, but the colors are really, I think appropriate for Blue Lake. Our sign is already a blue color. But we thought this could be something that could be maybe a starting point, because it's hard to come up with ideas. And so this would be a place that, you know, between the Arts and Heritage and EDC and Chamber could maybe use this as a starting block.
I think it's something that we should be part of the ad hoc.
So we would need one or two committee members one or two commissioners to join the ad hoc committee.
Yeah.
I will do it. I have a love for the arts.
What do you call it? I'm not on the heritage, but I'm an advisor. Would that interfere if I were, if I were to
Yes.
be between the two? I can't do
I
that.
believe so, because then you would, well, you're an advisor, so you're not.
Not
Maybe
on.
not. I have to ask her for some clarification. Hi, Opie. Because since you're only an advisor, you're not a commissioner, you can't be part of the quorum anyways,
Yeah,
to establish it for
yeah,
them.
I can't vote on anything.
Right. So I think you would be fine.
Yeah. And I can participate as an advisor on.
You could participate as an ad hoc commissioner on this side, and then you kind of get the vote.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because Cindy, I do that with you.
Yeah, I just think it's valuable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And you're a business owner, so you can have that perspective.
Yes. Hopefully someday it'll actually happen.
Although I just got such a big twig.
Oh, that's expensive. So we need a motion to nominate or have Cindy and Sheriff on the ad hoc committee for signage. Is
Yeah, I think
that-
it just makes it cleaner. I
Okay.
don't know if it's completely necessary, but I think it just cleans it up.
So,
Say what?
I guess I'll make a motion that we appoint Cindy and Sheriff to the ad hoc committee about signage, and all in favor? Aye. So it's unanimous?
said aye.
Yeah, so that's two.
She said I do.
No, we do.
Are you,
So does the public have any comments about the ad hoc committee?
I would like to say something about that. I just hope the ad hoc committee might consider ways to involve the greater community in the process. Because I think that between all the different commissions that happen and the different agendas and the different times, I think a lot of people don't always know about the stuff that's brewing and happening, and there may be people that wanna be a part of the process. And so figuring out the best way to let people know that these things are happening and invite them to take part. Because in my opinion, the more community is invited to take part, the more buy-in you have, the more support you have for what you're doing. You know, a lot of people are always gonna go, oh, I like the old sign better, or I
Yes.
like the old stuff better. But if the more people you have being a part of the change and the new, the more support you're gonna have for it. So.
How do you go about involving people who aren't on the commission and letting them know? Like a note at the post office?
Well, I think social media is pretty, you know, widespread.
idea.
A lot of people are using, like the Facebook page that has 3,100 members, and this is our greater Blue Lake area. You know, that's reaching a lot of people. Yeah, the post office of all the different places is probably one of the best. You know, the message board there outside the post office maybe, you know, where people can see that even when the post office is locked down.
Or at the doghouse.
At the doghouse, yeah, there's a bulletin board at the doghouse, there's a bulletin board at City Hall, there, I don't even know if there's one right outside here too.
Yeah, well, it'd be good to tap some homegrown talent too, you know,
Yes.
find some artists in the community that would like to help
Mhm.
design something, you know, either this tentative stage or something more permanent.
Okay,
So is this lead gonna be from,
Thank you.
I mean, who's gonna help put it so that we all get started?
So, we have Arts and Heritage tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
I don't believe that this was agendized, so we may have to wait till the next meeting. But I think you guys as a, ad hoc can start doing some, you know, brainstorming amongst yourselves as well, or maybe look at what other towns have done, or some other examples. Get a feel for the signage that's currently out there and see where you think maybe some deficiencies are, because I think it also could be landscaping. You know, that's the school's property, but you know, the school will work with us. But I think there's some opportunities to clean up that site a little bit as well. So we can make sure this is on the next agenda for the Arts and Heritage Commission, so it can be addressed properly. But it doesn't preclude you from starting to you know, do some research and some ideas.
so, and we can have an update from the ad hoc committee on agendized on our next EDC meeting.
And possibly some public outreach.
Well, there's these upcoming events, maybe we could have some signage or a flyer or like a suggestion box there or something to get public input or let people know about what we're thinking.
It seems like there's a lot of new stuff going on lately, and, I think this is an opportunity maybe for all of us to put our heads together and figure out the best ways to reach people and come up with kind of a policy about how to do that. You know, what all we include, which places we post things, you know, who maintains those bulletin boards or whatever. Just, you know, something to think about there.
Well, there is a lot of stuff going on, and
Yeah.
it's much better to have people aware of it than to hear it through other people with the grapevine, and things kind of get a little bit confused.
Yeah.
Yeah, I always liked the way Susan would have those, like, she would have, from 5 to 7, come, you know, fill out a Post-it, and
And those were very effective.
yes, maybe that could happen. I mean, I don't know how dangerous it is to go to that property, but to have, say, okay, you know, on whatever, April 1st, April Fool's Day, no kidding, we're gonna go, you know, meet at the sign and go to the space and see what it looks like, you know, because personally, I know I need that. I need to be in a space to see, okay, what are we gonna do with this? What's already on it? What doesn't exist anymore, you know, and actually take notes and put Post-its and just have people give their input that way. I think that's a way of people being included,
They
you
can
know,
put
it's,
just a big printout of what it is, and then you can put your Post-it over.
right, different ideas, because even my grandkids had ideas, you know, they wanted water features, and so there will be a water feature in that center, you know, stuff like that, so that people feel heard, I think is important.
Maybe put something on, you know, because there's the 2 different Facebook pages that reach the communities, maybe a Dropbox at the city for ideas, you know, and people can.
That might be better,
That's
because
probably
speaking
better.
of water features, I think we're living in one, and
Yeah, I
people
know.
just like go to the corner and stick their
It
paper
is,
up and it's
yeah,
all
it's
gonna
kind of-
melt.
No,
It's
no,
like-
I mean, we all go there for 2 hours.
I like the
You know,
Dropbox
yeah,
idea.
You might, you know,
Yeah,
like
Dropbox
search
is
on the
great.
internet and, you know, it's more eyes are better than just, you know, 2 or 4, you know, and maybe
Yeah.
you print off some stuff and some
I could go
ideas
take a
to read.
picture of it if you need that, like go take a picture of what it looks like now.
Yeah, yeah.
And then,
And then
you know,
post that on
create
Facebook.
that as a you know, like a poster.
Yeah,
And then next to it, and here's an idea, and then
Right,
if you have
yes.
any ideas, put it in the Dropbox.
Yeah, something like that, so that, yeah. And I wouldn't just do internet though, because there's a lot of people not on internet, you know? I mean.
Well, and the
everything else-
internet gets kind of crappy sometimes,
Yeah.
sometimes
I'm
maybe
avoiding
just
the
a
internet.
Dropbox. And then if
Definitely
they,
avoiding
instead
the
of just sitting there being mean, they would actually have to walk somewhere and do something instead of just spewing.
Well, I think the internet's good for not so much discussion always, but letting the
Awareness.
biggest
Yeah,
audience
yeah.
know about what's going on. so
For
that
sure.
They have opportunities to take part. But yeah, absolutely, all the different bulletin boards, and I don't even know, I mean, you know, like I said, we should have a concerted effort to get everybody's brains together to figure out.
yeah, it'd be good to give like a time limit, like, you know, for the
Yeah,
next
you need a
30
limit.
days.
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
definitely.
by this
Yeah.
point, we would like to have ideas and then we have a base to go on, but, you know, at the post office, city hall, the lager bar, I don't know, just get like a little.
The Grange has a board too.
Okay, yeah, absolutely, and, you know, just kind of build up on some ideas.
If you're gonna put a time limit on, I would suggest 60, simply because that gives you a chance to have a meeting in between. So that way you can have a meeting to process some of the income.
Well, we're not gonna be making a decision, we're just gonna gather ideas, there's no decision making, I don't think, at this point, it just, you know.
But maybe after all the ideas are gathered, then.
We can't, yeah, you guys are gonna have to come up with a decision fairly quickly though, because we need to go into spring, summer with some new signage.
Okay.
So there is a need, that sign's starting to weather, and I already saw some ripples in it, so it's, something.
You talk about the vinyl one, the
Yeah.
temporary one?
Yeah.
Yeah, that one's been outlasted its thing.
Yeah, I'm surprised it's lasted this long.
Yeah, well, it's a good idea to take a picture of the site, maybe put that on the medias, and then we can, you know, put some notice up the ground and, you know, give everyone like 30 days to share what they would like to see there, or if they have a design, or.
What's missing here?
Yeah.
Yeah, because there might be some business that would like to be on it, and maybe it's not on the radar or something like that. And do you charge? Is it charged?
It's not ours, it's the chamber's sign.
Oh,
So
right.
I don't even know what the chamber's position will be on that.
Oh,
What we do have control over though is the little sign below it, which could also be larger, or could be different, in a lot of ways. But the chamber sign would have to come as a recommendation to the chamber to see if that's, you know, a consideration that they wanna make a change or.
Oh, so you're talking about replacing the vinyl?
Mhm.
Oh, that's
Welcome
it.
signage.
The welcome to Blue Lake with the
Yeah.
arrow.
Yeah, oh,
Yeah.
oh,
Which
Okay.
could be replaced with something completely different than that. It could be replaced with other gateway signage. We don't have the authority to make any changes to the chamber sign, but we can definitely make a recommendation on some ideas on ways to either upgrade it or, I doubt that they're gonna want to change the sign.
When you say the chamber sign,
The big
excuse me,
sign.
you mean the wooden thing
Yeah,
with everybody's
Yeah.
business hanging?
Yeah.
It's like the.
Because
Yeah,
it
we're
has
just
a
talking
different-
about the welcome to Blue Lakes, which hangs on the chamber.
Right,
Yeah.
but the chamber sign also
That's
hasn't been
very
updated
different.
in a number of years, so there's a lot of those organizations that maybe don't exist anymore, or, you know, they might wanna consider as part of their opportunity to promote business in the community, which is what they're supposed to be doing.
It could be part of their membership, just like if
Absolutely.
you want your name on the Blue Lake sign.
You gotta be a member.
You gotta be a member, and maybe you pay an additional fee to cover the costs of
Right.
updating, maintaining the sign, something like that.
So is the chamber gonna be part of the discussion about all of it?
I'm the vice president of the chamber,
Yeah.
and, it's in the chamber's best interest this year to really connect with the local businesses, and I think updating the sign, whether it's just the names or just with the look, they'd love to be involved in the conversation.
Great.
And the memberships, really individual memberships for a solo person, family memberships, people can join the chamber and come to our meetings and learn what's going on, give your ideas. We would love more public input. And then businesses, of course, can join the chamber. There's a few different levels, but this could always be introduced as a new level of premium membership or something.
Right, because I think you'd want to be selective about who you
Yeah.
post on there.
Right, aren't the signs on the chamber thing more civic groups,
They
like
are.
Boy Scouts
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
Grange?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Some of those civic groups don't exist anymore, so that could be an opportunity. Or like I said, they may want to, consider making some additional changes.
You know,
don't
a few years ago, I wanted to put the horse arena up there, just so that people, when they drive into town, they might see something that they didn't know was here, but they said it was the wrong kind of group, it wasn't a civic group, so,
So there's some rules about how
there's, I guess,
it predates me, I don't know the origins of the
and
sign.
it could change, you never know.
It could.
Yeah.
Okay, is there any more comment? Okay, moving on to local business engagement, discussion and action, and
Blue Lake Pizza Co. We're very lucky to have them in here today. They started doing their pizzas, I guess it's been 2 months now, 3?
I have lost track.
He's lost track.
Yeah.
It's been about 3 weekends, hasn't it?
Since we moved into the snack bar there, it has been, I think it's been probably about 2.5 months since we really started posting up and selling pizza.
They've been so fabulous to work with and get that space going, and.
do you share the space with them?
I just eat their pizza.
Yeah.
They're across the yard from me.
Okay.
So they're working out of the serving booth out in the back.
Okay, where,
Yeah.
Slow.
Yeah, where Bill was.
Okay.
Do you guys have the capability, if someone's having a skate party at the rink, to go ahead and take a pre-order? Because we allow pizza and, cake for the private parties. So if someone calls, week or two or beforehand, is there, like a path that I can get people to you?
Most definitely. We have, we're up on Google now, and we have a Facebook page, a phone number, everything like that. We definitely have the capabilities to open up outside of our typical serving hours. It just kind of has to be worth it, so minimum of like 6 pizzas has to be ordered for us to open up for it. And then, yes, we can certainly, especially if there's a party with a skate rink, we can open up. And like I said, it kind of depends on the hours, the number of pizzas ordered.
Yeah,
And
because the
then,
parties are on,
They're usually on a weekend, right? Wouldn't they?
they're daytimes, so,
We have done one party that was right before the skate rink opened, and they ordered, I think, 6 pizzas exactly, actually, and that went pretty smoothly. We just opened up a little bit earlier and made pizzas, and then
yeah.
got
Because
ready for the
I'll
rest of
push
the-
people your way if they, want to have local pizza.
Yeah,
that would be
Get
appreciated.
them like in touch with you at least, a couple days beforehand so you can be prepared or,
Mhm.
definitely.
Yeah, just send them to our, we're Blue Lake Pizza Company, so our Facebook or they can find us on Google now. I believe.
Okay, great.
That was,
Yeah.
that went through, okay, yeah.
So, and we will be meeting this week to discuss long-term rental, similar to Darcy, how she does at the doghouse, but for the serving booth in the back. Because with summer coming, that space does get rented out really regularly with family reunions and birthdays, and it's nice to know how we can have a long-term tenant and also do these short-term rentals.
Right.
Yeah, so we're looking forward to it.
Yeah.
How are you guys doing? I mean, give us a little update on how things are going, or do you have any concerns or things that you might need additional support or?
I'm not too concerned. We have been trending upward pretty strongly over the last, especially over the last 3 weeks.
Yeah,
That has made a pretty huge difference. Now people are like
I see
being
lines
able to
on it.
find us, we're more regular. So we're still not making a ton of money, but I kind of anticipated a pretty slow start, just because it takes a while for people to get to know you. But yeah, we're actually doing pretty well.
Have you registered with the Small Business Development Center to see if they have any resources that might help you grow or learn about your business?
I have not. Somebody else was just recommending that to me.
The North Coast SBDC, and just registering them with them might put you on the radar for grant opportunities, or just, there's some webinars about how to set up your bookkeeping, and they've got some stuff about, there's a food costing one, it might be this week, that could be interesting. And it's a good place, it can be a good resource.
I highly recommend it. I've been starting a business about a year ago, kind of art-based, but they have tremendous support. I actually got a grant from them for a significant amount of money.
Okay.
Is it just
Wonderful.
online, or how would we go about
They have a physical office, but yeah, just you
Oh,
can,
okay.
NorCal SBDC, and then just register.
North Coast SBDC is the local affiliate, and the NorCal SBDC is the bigger one that's got 38 counties all over Northern California. And for some reason, it is here, right down the street from the North Coast SBDC, and very similarly named. But
And Layla just took another job?
yes, her last day is the 31st, and they're hiring a new director, so there's some turnover there. But Janet is still in the North Coast SBDC office.
Have we done anything with the doghouse through them? Or are our grants through,
Yours have just been through the city,
and through, okay, yeah.
but no, it's a, I mean, they're a great resource, they really are.
I don't think I've plugged into them, but,
So SBDC,
Do you think, Roxanne, we could see if they would come out and do like a small business roundtable with some of our local businesses?
Janet loves roundtables.
oh,
Is that Janet?
Thanks, Janet.
that'd be nice.
Yeah.
We
That
could all
would be
just
good.
be here and they could come to us.
Well, that's how, we should look at how we could set that up and
Yeah.
what we can, those have been popular, like people can learn a lot, and it's a chance to.
Just to see what resources they have. We've had a lot, you know, we
Might
do have
invite
new
Bill,
businesses popping up.
invite Mr. Bill to that.
Yeah, they're,
Theora,
and there's, they're doing a series on how to sell your business to your employees for management succession, because one of the things people don't think of when they start a business is how I'm gonna exit this business. Am I gonna sell it? Am I gonna retire? Am I gonna pass it on to a family member? Or am I just gonna close the doors and forget about it? There's a lot of different ways, and it can be hard, and it's good to plan for it ahead of time, so, because many people kind of drop the ball on a transition. And there are a lot of businesses that are gonna be transitioning in the next 15
Especially
years.
some of the old family businesses where the kids don't wanna necessarily be a plumber.
That's why
Plumbers make pretty good money.
I know, but there's, especially with the ranching community, that's what's starting to happen now, is all the old families and the kids don't necessarily wanna raise cattle or sheep or chickens or, yeah. So it's good to think about that.
But there are a lot of people with small businesses who can't imagine working for anybody but themselves. And, yeah, we need them.
So do you guys think you're seeing capacity to grow? Like you could handle with what you have, you could handle a higher volume of orders? I'm thinking about this spring, summer, as the weather starts getting better and people are out in the park, because Bill had a huge following and people would come and just eat in the park and hang out. And are you seeing that you guys can keep up with an increase, like a doubling possibly of?
I think we're operating at maybe just over half of what we could do with the current manpower and equipment.
Okay.
Is that because of manpower or stove power?
Mostly the stove. It's pretty rare, so it's a portable oven on a trailer that's powered by, or run off, it burns propane. And it's actually two ovens, And typically, we're only running one oven at a time. And it would be pretty easy to keep up with the orders in the kitchen side of things, but actually cooking the pizzas seems to be one of the biggest bottlenecks.
Maybe there's an opportunity to, I haven't looked closely at your menu, but there's more kitchen stuff in there too that you could work with potentially.
In terms of,
I mean, you could do like side salads or
Oh,
something
right.
like that,
calzones.
macaroni and cheese or something like that.
yeah.
Because we do have that double pizza oven too that we'll be
Mhm.
putting in there, that you guys can utilize. That maybe that's like your side stuff, your calzones or your, whatever. That you do after that, and you do your main pizzas out of your oven or something.
Right, yeah, we've talked about doing everything from paninis to salads,
It's, yeah,
pizza,
it's
and the whole 9 yards. So I think in the future, we're definitely gonna be developing some new menu items and everything. For now, we're kind of still getting into the groove of things, and
I still think take and make pizzas.
definitely on our list.
Make it easy on yourself.
Right.
You cook at home.
Are there gonna be plans for anybody going into that space during the week when a pizza company's not there?
I think there's an opportunity for that. As we get closer to our commercial kitchen and crash, we'll do a little bit more outreach on seeing if there are other businesses who want to be able to use commercial kitchen space. I know there's a huge need for it.
Is Marty still hoping to go into the shack out there? The other,
Yes, she is. She's mentioned it to me at least a half dozen times. Yeah.
So it just has to be evaluated for use.
Well, however that gets evaluated, that needs to be a fair process. Marty's feeling really left out.
So we have a packet for all food establishments that has to be followed. It's per the health department. And when people don't wanna follow it, they unfortunately can't have a food business in Blue Lake, because it's not safe for the community. There's no way for us to ensure that things grown at home in people's backyards or in their kitchens are safe. And when the health department flags individuals and we get cited, it puts us in great liability and the community, so.
Okay. So
So-
is there some history that,
There's some
There has been
extra
history, and the packet is always available in my office. I've given out 3 this week, and everybody has to follow the same things, licenses basically.
So maybe the SBDC food flight
Yeah.
series would be a good place to start.
And-
learning what.
well, my understanding is, and I don't wanna start anything, but this one little person who was donating all of her profits back to the city, from what she's told me, wasn't given anything in writing to that effect. And so, we just wanna make sure that,
Absolutely.
it's fair and it's, and everybody has access to that information, and if there's a misunderstanding,
Absolutely.
give an opportunity to clarify and that kind of thing.
We'd be happy to connect her with resources, but the bottom line is we have to follow the health and safety.
Of course,
code.
absolutely.
And we'd be happy to connect anybody with those resources to get them on the ball rolling, to rent our facilities and, serve food. That's all I have to say about that.
I'd like to just get a copy of that, just to see.
Of course.
I think there might be an issue with a space being rented to a certified food vendor as opposed to a person just using a space and giving the profit to the city. So they don't really get any rental for the building if that's the way it's managed.
Right.
And so that might be one aspect of it.
Yeah.
Because these buildings are now being rented by
Right,
people,
Right,
and then she didn't rent it,
right.
so.
She used it in exchange for profits. Right, so
Right.
then maybe that could be figured out a different way where, okay, it costs this much for for the days you use it, and then, and I don't know. You keep a running total and
net the Brett's profits and then donate the rest or something.
Yeah, something like that.
I don't know what bookkeeping is like.
That sounds complicated.
Yeah.
I think that it comes down to, the rules,
Yeah.
health and safety code rules that we have to follow.
It is important. Essential. So are there any more discussion or action items? Do we need to form an ad hoc committee to talk about this, or I can make inquiries about getting somebody from the SBDC involved with maybe some outreach in Blue Lake. I know there's a lot of turnover with the North Coast SBDC right now, but hoping to get somebody good in really soon, and we'll have new energy and it'll be a good time to approach.
Yeah, I think, maybe we can think about doing like a little economic summit out here.
That was a
And
great
see
event.
if AEDC and REDAC wanna come as well with SBDC and, you know, just get our businesses together and be able to talk about, you know, economic development in Blue Lake. We've got a lot of stuff going on, we've got a lot of interest in business development out here. So maybe getting everyone together to start seeing what people are doing, what their needs are would be good.
There's some new businesses that have started up and kind of proffered or changed hands
Mhm.
since we've started this
Yeah,
commission. It's
absolutely.
not really been a big local presence, but they are a big business,
Yeah.
big presence. And
Was Arcata Main Street part of that kind of a group?
I think Arcata Main
For a
Street
minute.
is not the Arcata Chamber, is it? And it's separate from the city, so it's another one of
I think
the.
it's arm of the
Downtown.
city.
You think it's
I think, yeah, I think that the city supports Arcata Main Street, but then I think they have their own board.
Weren't we involved with Arcata Main Street to kind of get stuff going here for a minute, and then they changed,
Is that Humboldt Maid?
or Humboldt
Humboldt
Maid,
Maid, yeah.
I'm sorry,
Yeah.
Humboldt Maid.
So we're still working with Humboldt Maid. They're the ones who brought the markets, the Sunday markets out.
Okay.
And, yeah,
Those will be starting up again before we know
yeah,
it.
before we know it.
So, I was on the shopping show last Saturday, and so it's a way without spending money to advertise your product, and it's a show on Saturday mornings, and it's a little corny, but it's a little fun too. You
Show on what? Where is it?
It's on Ken's.
It's a radio show, and they
Okay,
sell
I know.
coupons to businesses, so like if you bought a coupon worth $20 at the Doghouse, you'd only have to pay like 14 or maybe 10, sometimes they do half off. But it's a way to get free advertising, so I just did, so I joined, and then 2 weeks or 3 weeks later, I went to the radio station and answered questions for an hour or more, and people called in, and I sold like 2 months worth of coupons.
Wow.
Yeah, so the people who buy the coupons pay for the advertising. And so because I sold so many, I actually went in Monday and did an actual studio radio ad. And I totally did a whole Blue Lake, you know, there's a lot of reasons to come to Blue Lake, blah, 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 and now you have the Doghouse, and so and then Colin, who's a Blue Laker, he's my ad dude, he's like, well, and you have to come in and do another, because we're like, oh, you can't talk about everything, you know, so gonna have another one, and I was saying, you know, the city of Blue Lake should consider this, because they could sell coupons to the roller rink or, you know, I don't know. It's just, the sky's the limit. But after we get together with these folks about small business, maybe we can regroup and do a radio ad, because the sun will be coming out and people, you know, we can do an ad and give away coupons to the roller rink, and people can come to the dog park and the river walk and mention some Blue Lake businesses.
Have you had people that have come in with their coupons?
Yeah, and my very first coupon was Joe and Adeline, or whatever her name was. She's from Blue Lake. They got married 35 years ago, and they met at the roller rink. It was so cute.
Yeah, I talked to
Yeah.
Holland the other day about coming in, talking with Emily and Chairs about
Yeah.
some programming and ads and stuff, so.
Just
I think
a
it'd
little
be great.
something to think about, because it's free advertising. I mean, you don't have to fork out money, you have to give, for me, where it costs me is I give food sort of at cost, And then,
Your time.
yeah, my time. But it's getting the word out. I
Yeah.
mean, people from Fortuna bought coupons.
Cool.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
they bought some more.
they
didn't
did.
they? Yeah.
I think
They
so.
were on last week and they bought some more coupons.
It's a very
People
popular
stop
show.
in on their way to Willow Creek, and I have a couple coming from McKinleyville every week. They're not coupon people, but turkey pesto and chicken curry every time. So it's a little something to put in our bonnets and think about.
That's great.
Yeah.
Colin Vance?
Mhm.
Does he work for King?
Mhm.
Oh, I didn't know that. I just thought that was
Is there any more discussion on local business engagement? Does anybody have anything else to add? This would be an ongoing topic, I think.
I'm still thinking about doing a,
committee? I noticed it says ad hoc committee.
We
Would
do
that
not have an existing ad hoc committee.
Did you want one? I'm thinking
Yeah,
at this
either.
point,
I think we can just keep discussing local business engagement. It makes sense to have this as a standing agenda item, and
and then also we could get going with AEDC and the rest of them to come in
well, I'll
Do the
put the
road.
bugs in the right ears and we'll see
I-
what percolates.
you
But
know
I think
those bugs.
everybody loves to come out to Blue Lake as the days get nicer, and it can be like work, but you can work out in Blue Lake and maybe get a walk in.
Or a swim.
Or swim, I think. And the event we had at the Grange a couple of years ago was very well attended, and I think it was really productive.
Was that the
and-
Callaway one we
It
did?
was
Yeah.
Cal that came up, yeah.
We could do another one of those if you felt it was appropriate.
I thought it was really good.
It was. We had a lot of representation from just about every city government,
Yeah.
all the,
Well, one of the things I think could be critical too is, there's a movement to try and remove barriers for small businesses to be successful in the county. And I've been pushing really hard for us to embrace some of the new legislation that allows us to have like non-conforming kitchens. Why does every kitchen have to have
7
8?
sinks.
It just doesn't make sense when we've been preparing food out of these kitchens for generations and no one has, perished because of it.
we're not feeding 1 million people.
And just looking at opportunities, out in Blue Lake where we don't necessarily have everything that conforms to specific standards, but how are we being creative in promotion and the use of, spaces? And I think Blue Lake is a perfect opportunity, an example, like, not many cities are, turning their snack bars and, field equipment sheds into small business opportunities as well. So Blue Lake does have, we are being creative thinkers and thinking outside the box, and it is getting the attention of others in our communities, but we also need the greater county, advocates and funding advocates to get on board with this as well, so that we don't have those barriers. And I know, Scott at the county has been really gracious in supporting us. We've had Headwaters money. We've got people seeing that Blue Lake is making these inroads, but we need to really keep that pressure on, because there are opportunities right now that we're not taking advantage of, and that may mean that we need the health department. We may need the board of supervisors and to trickle down to the health department to say, not everyone needs to meet all of these standards, and if we adopt and comply with the new legislation, we don't have to. That could open up a huge array of opportunities for small business. You could use the Grange, you could use the school, use the fire department, Crash Hall. Those are all commercial, almost commercial grade kitchens, but just not quite.
These would all be resources that we would access in a
Absolutely.
natural disaster
Yeah,
scenario.
absolutely. So I think, just really keeping that push from, I think Blue Lake's becoming enough of a player, in the region that we can also be that, like you said, that bug in the ear, so.
exciting. It is.
Yeah, it's fun to see Blue Lake getting mentioned, you know, on a larger regional level. That's right.
Okay, so I think we've exhausted this topic for this time, but we visited at other meetings. And we move on to number 7.
I make a note, I double numbered 7, so this is number
Okay,
8.
7, 5.5.
Yeah.
7.5.
Yeah.
The Blue Lake Roller Rink report, we've been maintaining our numbers, which is great, as the weather really hasn't cleared up at all. But as spring and summer approaches, we do expect a dip as it gets lighter out, kids are outside. It's just a natural thing, but we're hoping to keep things fun and fresh and keep having new events like a karaoke skate night, all ages DJ nights, because those have been really popular. And making partnerships with the kombucha, It's Alive Kombucha, Moon Cycles in Arcata, the skate shop contacted me this last weekend wanting to start some programming at the rink. But I've been very fortunate that we've taken Cheris onto our team to now take the skate coordinator role. Would you like to talk more about the rink at all?
Well, I'm just trying to get settled in.
Yeah.
You know, it's amazing the number of people that are now contacting, like, oh, can I have my party next week? And it's like, at this point, like, you have to book out to like the middle of April for a party, for birthday parties. So there is tremendous growth in that. And I think there's a lot of different types of activities we can put on there. We kind of did a last minute diving save for a local house concert when we had, well, the weather's consistently bad. But they were, as a traveling folk duo, with a soloist traveling with them, and the house concert was supposed to be outdoors. They'd sold like 50 tickets, and there was no way the guy could have it in his house. So they contacted us. At first we were like, yeah, we need 2 weeks notice and insurance and all this. And but then, you know, in the course of the conversation, Emily and I were kind of like, you know, we might be able to, you know, make this happen for them. And it was wonderful. It was wonderful, yeah. So yeah, there was about 50 people there. Bob Pagliocco, if I say his last name right, Uncle Bob's Salsa. He was the organizer of the event, and they came in and we set it up like a little small concert venue. And you know, I think it's kind of like the more money we invest in that building, I think the more it's going to give back to us. And you know, we've talked about you know, improving the sound performance, so that it's not so echoey in there, you know, eventually upgrading that. I mean, the building can pay for itself, and as it pays for itself, you can have, you know, better and bigger events there. And, you know, certain things that are kind of a high dollar mark could within 4 or 5 rentals pay for itself. And then we've got a building that is unique in Humboldt County. So it's exciting. I've been there a couple weeks now, and I'm getting my chops on and taking a lot of it off Emily's plate, because this is a full-time job.
It is, the rink's at that point, and we've hired some more skate staff, which has been good, to help alleviate some of that demand that we're seeing during the weekends. We're looking at how many more skates we can add to our artillery before it's too many skaters at once at the rink. But each week we've been consistently running out of sizes 5 through 12.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we have to post, and it's a good problem to have. So that's been the rink. Parks and Rec, some general programming. Instead of Easter, we're not gonna be doing an Easter hunt in the park this year. Last year was really hectic. Yeah.
My grandkids were crying.
A lot of labor, not a lot of
Oh my God, you guys stuffed plastic eggs
Thousands
for
and
days.
thousands of eggs.
That
Yeah,
was crazy.
it's 6,000 eggs last year.
Oh, wow.
They were gone in 20 seconds.
Yeah.
It was
Wow.
quick. So this year we partnered with the Resource Center here. Molly's gonna take on the rock painting, which is, I think, also a lot more environmentally friendly. Community can drop off rocks here. But we're gonna do a community rock painting this Friday at the Grange, 12 to 4, and it should be on the agenda if you wanna make note. There'll be rocks from Pepe.
It's the 19th or the 17th.
The
17th is Friday.
is it Sunday? There's a flyer on the back.
Okay.
Here we go, the 19th. Cool. My bad, Sunday.
Are you getting rocks from Pepe?
Yeah, because he's just got a big pile down there that has like the perfect size rock, so we just go down and get some
Think of
buckets.
him in regards to
I know,
rocks that
yeah.
we need.
He always lets me take rocks from there.
The community, they have until March 28th to drop off rocks here at the Resource Center. And Molly will be pushing out to social media to get volunteers for hiding after they've collected the rocks on the 28th. And the community, they're gonna use the Parks and Rec Facebook page to post updates on clues to the hunt or when it will begin. And Molly's, like I said, she's spearheading that. Other Parks and Rec in July, we have our Recreation Month. So we have the Parks and Rec Commission, they're going to head the Leisure Sports Tournament. We're kind of foreseeing there's gonna be two pieces to it. One will be the small little pop-out games or parks where we're hoping the committee or commission can work with the businesses to each create little pop-up activities where people could come to Blue Lake for a weekend and do something fun at Honeycomb and then go do something, you know, at the Grange or at the Lager Bar that might be related to that business. Marty Granger's helping me on that, start figuring out what each business would like to do for their activity. And then we're thinking of possibly a second leisure sports tournament in the park, where that would be kind of a come and play day. So maybe a big kickball game or a big bocce tournament throughout the day. So we're hoping that some local community members, I know Eric Hall's, people have been tagging them, will help rope us in. Jeff Bird's on the commission. So we're excited to see what comes of that in July. We have Annie Mary Day, July 9th, the car show as well. Bill Nussler car show. And we're hoping that will be a nice segue into August, which will be starting in the markets and Humboldt Made festivities again.
But can you, tell me what leisure sports are? Is baseball a leisure sport?
So it's more like bocce, it'd be croquet,
Used to be
ping
lawn
pong,
darts.
badminton,
Not anymore.
Used to be what?
Lawn darts,
lawn.
they're lawn darts.
I was just thinking, if people are gonna be coming out and going around the town and maybe watching or participating in leisure sports, maybe the Saddle Club should have a little something people can come and watch.
Yeah. So the idea is so July is Parks and Recreation Month. So the goal is to have something each weekend that, you know, people can come out to Blue Lake to experience. So like the pop-up parks, what they've done in other communities is you take basically like a parking space and you turn it into a Jenga thing or a giant chessboard, or I've seen businesses that like put out like sand and make it a beach hangout. So all of a sudden their little business has this cool beach hangout, or someone pops up a piano. So we could have that for one weekend. Then one weekend could be the leisure sport tournament. So that would be a tournament where you enter as teams and everyone competes in different leisure sports, and then, you know, whoever gets the best score at the end wins and stuff. So, but they're supposed to be sports that like everyone can compete in. So cornhole, people usually dress up for them, maybe have a team.
Best costume.
Yeah, you do fun.
Best mascot.
The idea, like what I've always envisioned, is having every one of our park facilities being used. So there's pickleball going on at the tennis courts, there's something we could use the horse arena for something, maybe it's like a, I don't know,
There's horseshoes.
that would be a great place for lawn darts. Or horseshoes, oh, the horseshoes are over there, so then you do badminton in the park, there could be something in the gym. But it just gives people, so they start to see that Blake has all of these great recreation facilities. And, you know, people are circulating, you know, it'd be great to have your food and the pizza company going at the same time. I'm sure we'd wanna have beer in the park. So
Disc golf,
it's
pop-up
just,
disc golf maybe or something.
Yeah.
They got the skate, pop-up skate rental thing.
yeah, there's a bunch of different little activities you can have. And then the next weekend, you know, you have Annie and Mary Day, so that's another activity. So basically, we kind of need like 4 weekend activities going on, so that people know that the whole month of July, each weekend, there's something fun around recreation in the community.
I wanted to bring up, is that it would be nice for us if at some point we could move Annie and Mary Day to August.
August, yeah.
Because July is really full of a lot of stuff.
It is, it
and-
conflicts with a lot of
And
events.
historically, Annie and Mary used to be, I know, I'm old, used to be in August. And
There's been talk at the chamber about moving that, because a lot of us
A lot
wanna
of
go
people
to
are like,
Ork Rodeo
"Oh my
and
God."
Fortuna, and
yeah.
Annie Mary Day is not in the best, it's not the best time.
No, and it's not, and it was one of those things that, I think Del Arte, when they came to town, is when that sort of changed, when it, because it became part of that, the
Yeah, it's a
festival.
festival, yeah.
And I don't know, would that be something to talk to
Chamber?
the chamber about?
We could certainly put it on our next meeting.
I know it's been brought to the chamber numerous times about changing that to August, changing it back to where it
Probably
used
won't
to
be
be.
good for this year, but maybe in the
Right.
future.
It is getting harder, July is a really packed month.
It's really
And
packed.
it's just, it's
Yeah.
competing, and it's been trending well, but, I mean, we still don't get anywhere near the volume that we historically had when it was in August.
How long has it been since it was in August?
I'd say 10
10?
years.
I don't know, I stopped going to Annie Mary Day when it changed.
I know, there
If
was
they
a
both
big
would like-
There's a
political
lot of people
group.
are out of town.
Yeah.
Yeah, committed to other things.
I'm not sure when it changed.
Yeah,
I mean,
I think it changed with the Mad River Festival, didn't it?
yeah,
Yeah.
it changed to incorporate, so then I think Del Arte, it got to be part of their festival programming.
so
So
I
it
think
used to
it
ended up
would
being
be
the
nice for it
conference.
to be more of a Blue Lake community event and not be mixed in with
The
a
Buffalo
special.
Festival.
Yes.
Yeah, to spread it out more.
That's the big thing, is you can have something every weekend, but we have really not that much in August.
No. And it used to be, I mean, there weren't that many big events in Humboldt County. You know, you had the Fortuna Rodeo, the Ork Rodeo, you had Annie and Mary Day, Rhododendron Parade. You know, you just didn't have that many big activities. Like every community had their one.
Mhm.
And then now we've backfilled with, you know, there's an event or a parade or something, you know, every weekend.
And then we compete.
And
which-
now we're competing,
Is there really nothing in August?
not really.
Folk Life
Festival,
Festival?
fun run, fun.
Is that after Annie Mary Day? So when
Yeah,
is
it's the week
that?
after. Folk Life is Saturday and Annie Mary the preceding Sunday.
So it's all in July.
The Buddy
So that's in
Brown's
July as well?
August. Oh, I booked that.
What's happening?
Buddy Brown
Oh,
that's in
yeah,
August.
Bunny Brown.
Right on.
at the park.
Yeah, I think it's a conversation for the chamber. I know it has been brought up a lot.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thanks for remembering to bring that up.
Well, it's been an issue in my mind for a long time.
Mine, a lot of mine, mine too.
Moving, does Maddie want to give a Bottlewat community update?
Yeah, so I'm excited that the mixed-use development, the Powers Creek District, has been given a name. So we can stop referring to it as the Danco Low Income Housing Development Project. It's now being referred to as the Bottlewat Community Project. It's going, so far, things are going really well. Cash is pretty deep into the design and of that project. So the goal of the developer is to synthesize the design to the point where he can apply for the application for the planning commission, so that it'll go to the planning commission for review and see how that goes through the process of looking at whether it meets all the zoning regulations, setbacks, height requirements.
The Blue Lake Planning Commission?
Mm-hmm. Yep, so it'll go before the city's planning commission. And it's being designed to meet all of those development standards that were identified in the opportunity zone. So the opportunity zone was specifically written to attract a development like this. So it's being designed within that context. We're working closely with the Arts and Heritage Commission. They're doing a lot of work to look at where kind of the aesthetics of the development start to play out. So where are opportunities for murals or sculpture installations or outdoor amphitheater space, landscaping features. We're working with the Wiyot tribe as well, and Marnie Atkins is the cultural director for the Wiyot tribe and is also a tribal council member. And she's an advisor on our Arts and Heritage Commission, so we have a direct link to the tribe there. So she had helped the commission come up with some options for names, which was really nice. And yeah, we were getting a lot of interest. I have a meeting set up on Thursday with another potential food vendor that's interested in coming out to be part of the development. We're working with several businesses as well to look at the retail commercial space. Also looking at opportunities to increase some of the amenities that are required to be built for the tenants, looking at ways to maybe increase those so that they could also be opportunities for the community to participate. So there's, I don't know if it's technically a requirement or it's an amenity that is kind of a usual installation is a gym for the tenants. And there could be an opportunity to expand the footprint of that gym so that the community also could take advantage of that. So they build gyms in a lot of these facilities, and since we have this commercial retail space, that's something that could be encouraged. So maybe there's a small gym that's the community gets to participate in as well. They're also looking at the commercial kitchen space, maybe possibly expanding that as well. There's a lot of opportunity to do different programming with the commercial kitchen, whether it's cooking classes or small business development or running it out as an incubator for food producers. So it's kind of a dual purpose. So you can drive revenue, you can also provide benefit to the tenant base, and you can also create economic opportunities as
There's a
well.
lot of job creation with that project.
Absolutely, yeah. It's really playing out really nicely. I'm really excited about how it's coming together and just all of the collaboration. The studies, most of the studies have been complete. They're finalizing a traffic study right now as part of the CEQA process. And so those reports are starting to come in, and mitigations and modifications are happening based upon what those studies are showing. We've had cultural studies completed. Special studies for special species have been completed. Yeah, so it's moving through the process really nicely.
Is there any public comment?
I went out to the site and just photographed, and it was just a beautiful view from there. And that's just on the ground, you know, so I can't even imagine what it'll be like from up higher to see the mountains and everything. It really is a nice place.
Have we thought about maybe one of the business spaces incorporating that idea of creating artists, like an art studio?
Yeah, so 4 of the unit, I think it's 6.
4, I think he's gonna move the other 2 up.
Okay, so they are looking at doing some live-work units. So that could specifically be geared towards artists or other qualifying tenants who maybe have a business, so that you can live and work out of your unit. But specifically looking at spaces for artisans to reside in, because you know, artists usually meet the affordable housing criteria, and it's really expensive to find creative space, and so, you know, having that incorporated into the development just brings a whole mix of demographics and opportunities, which I think will be really, really interesting and nice to have. There's also some thoughts being put into a portion of it being for like a integrated living for seniors. So maybe it's like 4 units with a shared kitchen space, and then 1 unit that would be like a caretaker unit. So seniors would have their own living space, but also still have that you know, resources available, so that they're not, you know, isolated, and you know, so there's a lot of thought being put into the mix of the units. You know, there will be some market rate units. There's a mix of incomes on, you know, kind of on the spectrum from, I think it's 30 to 80% of median income. So it's, you know, it'll be a really nice blend of demographics. I'm gonna run, because I've got to go set up for the other meeting, and I just realized that that's almost 6 and not 5.
We have to be back here at 6:30, so, announcements, we've been through.
Your adjustments.
And next future agenda items, April 11th, this meeting.
We didn't talk about this. If you're interested in the car show, volunteering and helping us in any way, please talk to me or email parksdirector@bluelake.ca.gov.
Is Glenn gonna be involved in it?
Glenn is, yes. We're meeting with the Nestlers this week to begin planning. We're super excited.
Cool. Okay, the chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I motion.
Second. Okay, all in favor? We are adjourned.
All right, thank you, everybody.
Thank you.